Hey everyone, welcome back to another TxePrep Introduction to Algebra video. And in this video, we're going to talk about factoring. And not exactly the quadratic factoring kind of type, but another type of factoring which connects directly with the distributive property. So let's say that I had an expression that was like 12x plus 4. And I wanted to just factor that. Well, how would I do that? So the first thing we need to do is find a GCD. And basically what a GCD is the greatest common divisor. So we need to try factoring this out and finding the greatest common divisor that goes into both of these terms, or into all the terms if there are more than two terms. So let's try rewriting this. So this is going to be the same thing as 2 squared times 3 times x, because 2 squared is 4, 4 times 3 is 12, and then 12x. And this 4 over here is going to be the same thing as 2 squared plus 2 squared. And we notice something here, that there's a 2 squared here and a 2 squared here. So it seems like if we divide this whole thing by 4, then it would still be possible. There wouldn't be any fractions. So it seems like 4 is the greatest common divisor of 12x plus 4. So let's try that out. Let's try dividing both terms by 4. So if we put 4 outside and then put a parentheses, 12x divided by 4 is simply 3x, and 4 divided by 4 is simply just 1. And when we redistribute it, it's going to be the same thing as 4 times 3x times plus 4 times 1. And that's just the same thing as 12x plus 4, which is exactly what we had before. So it seems like the 4 is actually the greatest common factor, because 3x plus 1, as you can see, can't really be factored more. So now let's try some bigger examples. So let's say we had 12x squared plus 4x plus 8 plus 8x plus 8x. So first of all, let's try combining like terms. So when we combine like terms, this is going to be the same thing as 12x squared plus 12x, because 4x plus 8x is simply just 12x. And now we're going to prime factorize this and see if we can find any similarities in here. So we're going to have 2 squared times 3, because that was the prime factorization of 12 that I showed before, times x squared plus 2 squared times 3 times x. So we immediately notice something. The 2 squared and the 3 are the same over here, and the 2 squared and the 3 are over here. And we also notice one more thing. X squared can be rewritten as x times x. And now we have an x in common over here, and an x in common over here. So now when we multiply all the prime factors that are in common, what we get is 2 squared times 3 times x, because those are the ones that are in both of these. So that's just going to be the same thing as 12x. So now what we're going to do is divide all of this by 12x. So now we're going to have 12x on the outside, put a parentheses, and now this is going to be 12x squared divided by 12x, which is just x, and 12x divided by 12x, which is just 1. And you can also solve that by just looking at what remains in this prime factorization over here. So in this case, only x remains, and in this case, nothing remains, so it must be 1. And when we try distributing this, this becomes 12x times x plus 12x times 1. I'm not going to write the 1 because that's redundant. And that just becomes 12x squared plus 12x. Okay, let's do one more example, this time with different variables, and see what happens. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do 12, let's do a different number. We're going to do 20, and we're going to do x, y, plus 15, y squared. So now we're going to factor both of these terms out. So 20 is the same thing as 2 squared times 5. That's 4 times 5, which is 20, times x times y. Plus 15 is 3 times 5 times y, because that's y squared. So now we're going to try finding the similarities. So we see here that 5 is in common with both of these, and just a y is in common with both of these. So it seems like the greatest common factor of this is just 5y. So what we're going to do now is take out the 5y and put in a parentheses. And now we're just going to do whatever remains. So 2 squared is 4, and 4 times x is just 4x, plus what remains here, 3 times y, which is just 3y. And when we distribute this, it's going to be the same thing as 5y times 4x plus 5y times 3y, which is just the same thing as 20xy plus 15y squared. So, as you can see, these two match, which means that our factoring was correct. So I hope you guys understood how we can apply the distributive property to factoring and vice versa to simplify expressions.